Well, folks, today it's the Rackspace Technology Career Fair. Today we're talking all about cloud engineering roles, whether it's on a support side or whether it's on the professional services side. So stay tuned. 30 seconds. I've got a couple of great guys to tell you all about it. Well, welcome back to our Rackspace Live event. Guys, I am Jeff DeVerter. I am clicking the wrong buttons is what I'm doing. I am Jeff DeVerter. I am the Chief Technology Evangelist here at Rackspace Technology. And today, just like we did last Wednesday, we're doing something a little bit different. Normally, I'm bringing you some product information on these Wednesday events. We're talking to some technologists who have launched something cool and interesting. But today, just like last week, we're talking about some amazing opportunities that exist here at Rackspace Technology in the form of growing your career. So, hey, make sure you're introducing yourself. Tell us that you're here. We'd love to know about you. And I'm going to introduce here in just a second these two gents. I've known them for years. So the first, Peter FitzGibbon, he leads all things professional services here at Rackspace in our Americas area. And then also we have Travis Runty. Travis has been on the program before, and but never in the context of here to tell you about a little bit more about his career, his path at Rackspace, but also the opportunities that he has inside of his department. So with that, it's enough of me just talking to you. Daniel, why don't we bring the team onto the screen and they can introduce themselves. So we'll start with Peter. Peter, welcome to Rackspace Live. Don't do anything embarrassing because everybody's watching you. I can't edit this later.
All right. Thanks for having me, Jeff. Great to see everyone out there as well.
All right. We're glad that you're here. And Travis Runty, or as we call him because he's been here so long, his email is Trunty. We'll just call you Trunty. Welcome back.
Thanks, Jeff. Really, really happy to be here.
Absolutely. Now we're having some rain here in San Antonio, and here you're mentioning it's coming, and I think, maybe he'll lose power. But as a good technologist would do, you've got a plan. You've got backup. You've got generator. You've got redundant internet. That's the kind of stuff you do around here.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got dual power. We got battery backups. We've got dual WANs. Having a good time over here. We're ready.
Everything that you need. Michael, we're glad that you're here. I see that you popped in. Well, you guys have both been around Rackspace for just a little while. And Trunty, since you've been here before, let's give it over to Peter. So Peter, how long have you been here and what was your first job at Rackspace?
Oh, wow. I've been here for about 5 years. My first job was running the VMware business here. And in that role, I had the pleasure of working with Travis day in, day out. And really, Travis helped me onboard myself into Rackspace and get me integrated into the team. Since then, I've held a couple of different roles. I ran our global applications business, which is a suite of products around ERP, digital experience, and a few other products. And most recently, in the last 6 months, I've been running our North America's professional services organization, which is a team of about 500 strong, really incredibly dedicated Rackers that are out there serving customers every day. I think we've got 300 active projects going on at any one time across that team. So great team to be part of, constantly delivering really transformative outcomes for our customers.
Awesome. And, while you're here representing North America Professional Services, we have people all over the world watching these. So I know we're hiring for professional services in all of the regions where Rackspace is, whether that's in EMEA or whether it's over in the Pacific region in APJ. So we're gonna put a link up. We'll just leave it here for a while, and that's over to rackspace.com/jobs. Now, one of the things that there's a couple of things I want to talk about before we get into the specific jobs. And the first is Rackspace's mission has absolutely changed over the years. Trunty, when you and I started, I started in 2008. When did you start here?
Yeah, it was 2007.
2007. So you beat me by a year. So, if you think back then, when a company would call Rackspace for services, we really just had to ask them three questions. How much storage do you need? How much networking do you need? And how much compute do you need? With that, we can get them online. In fact, we did it in, I think it was our SLA, 14 days, we'd have it online. And, it sounds a little sad at the time now, in the context of the sub-second bring some 1,000 VMs online. But at the time, of course, getting dedicated infrastructure online, that was world class, absolutely. And we built $1 billion business on that. But life is very difficult, or different now, and it's more difficult. So in the old days, while you looked after a lot of what we did in that space, what do people in your organization today? What are they doing? What is? We're not just looking for compute, storage, and networking. Talk a little about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we live in a lot more complicated space. So technology's evolved, customers' expectations has evolved, right? What was, we'll say, fanatical support 14 years ago are essentially table stakes today, right?
Yeah.
That should just work. And so the business challenges that our customers are facing today are more complex, right? We're talking budgets, we're talking sprawling technologies. We'll literally get a call from a customer asking for assistance on an AWS solution that was announced 30 minutes ago. And so reality is just the opportunity to be an expert on one single thing, the opportunity to only be reactive in our customer engagements it no longer exists. Our teams spend the most time making sure that our skill sets are truly world class, world leading, right? And that we are ready to proactively engage our customers, understand their business challenges, and really make sure that the cloud is working in cooperation with them. A lot of times we find customers will find themselves battling the cloud, trying to figure out how to operate within the cloud or how to undo some cloud decisions that they may have made hastily. We try to make sure that we share the best practices and make it a graceful, smooth, engaging, and an exciting process.
Now, one of the reasons I asked, especially Peter, the question earlier, what's his first job? Because at Rackspace, we're known for kind of moving from job to job, but that's also not because the fact that, there's such opportunity. Now, we talked about the old days. We're going to get some dedicated infrastructure online and we'll react when we need to react. The customer calls, an alarm goes off, a monitoring event occurs. But in this new world, we've got to be more proactive. We work with the customers. So that also means we have a lot of Rackers here that we are actually going through the process of upskilling and getting them into this cloudy sort of space and cloudy mindset. And I think it speaks a lot to how Rackspace is dedicated to the individual here at Rackspace and to helping further their career. Maybe you can tell us about the TOPS program that you help with.
Yeah, absolutely. So we know our business mix is changing. Our customers' requirements are changing. And so what we're doing is we're identifying really, really amazing Rackers that are in the business. But they're experts with talking to customers, but maybe they're specializing in the wrong technology or at least not a cloudy technology. Yeah. And so what the TOP program is we take cohorts of 30 internal Rackers at a time, and we push them through a 90-day full-time commitment to upskill them on different technologies. Just so happens our first two cohorts, 30 team members each, which are both actually underway, are focusing on AWS DevOps. Okay. That first cohort actually graduates on Friday, so I'm very, very excited to.
Hey, that's exciting.
Team members, absolutely. Throughout the end of the year, though, we've got 3 more cohorts actually planned. Probably 20 team members each. We're going to be doing cloud native development cohort, taking existing Rackers, upskilling them, a big data cohort, and we're also going to be doing a GCP cohort. So really, really, really just trying to figure out where the market's taking us, where we're having a hard time hiring in the market, and figuring out how we upskill existing talent to meet those market demands.
I think it's an incredible a testimony to the fact that Rackspace, not only are we out like today looking for new people, what we call our future Rackers, people who are going to come and be a part of the team here, but how we're dedicated to help make sure we take the best of who we have and make sure they have the skills to serve our customers. Now, Peter, I often referred to in customer presentations when I speak about professional services in the past. Not professional services today, but professional services in the past, I would call and forgive me, I will call it a necessary evil. It's what we had to do to get a customer from where they were to where we could actually wrap our arms around them. But that is not what professional services at Rackspace is today. It is truly a world-class transformation team. Maybe you can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It first starts with understanding where the customer is on a scale of what we call cloud. There's a cloud out there, to be cloud fluent, right? And our customers are somewhere along that journey, and different divisions within the customer are somewhere along that journey. So it starts with understanding where they are and what they're trying to do. And then some customers may be trying to just move an application to benefit some cost savings. Other customers may be in the cloud and need to really modernize the applications that they've moved. In the cloud, with a modern application, and that's generating a ton of data, and we extract the data from it. So everywhere from advising the customer where they should go, helping them get there, transforming their applications, transforming their data strategy. So it's different than the years ago where the necessary evil, as you call it, was just a migration to the cloud. Now, the migration to the cloud is just the beginning.
It truly is just the beginning. And any company that is looking at that as the end goal, let me just move my VM from where it was out into my cloud of choice, and we're happy to run them in any of those clouds. But that's where we unlock the potential. To be able, for instance, if I'm running in a data center, a Rackspace data center or anyone's data center, and I want to experiment with a machine learning experiment or a Hadoop cluster or any of these sorts of things that takes a ton of data, a ton of resources, a ton of extra servers to make this stuff happen. Well, it's at that point that big checks have to get written. But once you've moved, this is one of those value points of moving out to the cloud. Is you can play what if. Is this going to work? It truly makes the fail fast type of a mindset a possibility. So, Peter, what are the types of roles that types of personas, let's call it, of the employees who exist in your area? What are the types of work they're doing? Because I'm going to define. You said some words, and I know what they mean because I'm inside here. You have an advisory services practice, and you have a professional services practice. Let's talk about those a little bit.
Yeah. So advisory, we have effectively consultants that are helping the customers understand where to go. What's the current journey? Are you actually ready to move to the cloud? Not just from a technology standpoint, but also from a people and process just standpoint. Are you going to evolve your processes when you get there? What will they look like? Do you have the right people in the team get there? Then we have a number of architects and engineers to help people actually do the migrations. And then we have application developers that are focused on an array of different technologies across each of the clouds that we support, so we can develop modern applications from a greenfield perspective. We can take existing brownfield application and modernize that view. And then there's data engineers to help you build out your data strategy. We data consultants figure out what that looks like, and then of course data scientists to really extract the value from them. So we're continually focused in my organization as to what's the outcome that we're trying to deliver for the customer. Right? And we don't talk in terms of scope and budget and schedule. We'll talk about how we delivered the value and the outcome the customer is expecting, be it an application development project, a data project, just a simple migration project. So an array of different roles out there across a number of different applications, including package applications. We still do a lot of work with SAP, a lot of work with Oracle, especially Oracle EBS. So we have roles across all of those technologies, and you'll find it on the link below.
That's great. And so, Travis, back when we were just, looking for storage, network, and compute, we were looking for Linux and Windows engineers who could make that storage, network, and compute run really well. And but as Peter was describing these different types of roles, interestingly enough, we have to support all of that stuff that Peter and the team go and create, migrate, and transform. And Rackspace earlier this year released a product we call Rackspace Elastic Engineering. And that's where ultimately a lot of those roles that you're looking either to hire into or evolve through the top program exist. Tell us a little bit about that and what makes the Elastic Engineering team unique.
Yeah, absolutely. So Elastic Engineering is kind of a shared but familiar model with a customer. So a customer won't change teams. They will interact with the same 6 to 9 team members on a regular basis. These team members work the same hours as the customer, and we will proactively do regular sprint reviews to understand what the customer wants to get done iteratively as well as in the long range. The concept of a pod affords us the ability to create that familiarity and that trust with the customer, while also not introducing single points of failure. And so when we talk about the technologies, we really, really have a unique opportunity to understand when a customer comes in, what are you solving for? What technologies do you have opinions on? And then we could also assess, or rather, inject our opinion on what we think they will be using.
Yeah.
And we actually have, at this point, over 24 pods globally distributed.
Hmm.
And so we find out where the customer is, we find out what the technologies they're going to be working with. And then we actually have a really robust internal tool that has skill density for each of the pods. And so we're able to make those really, really informed decisions and say, customer is working within Istio. And we know this is going to be a really, really deep level need. And we just happen to have a pod with 200 hours of capacity. Let's put them over there. That's going to be a fantastic fit. And so it really, really creates so much flexibility, familiarity, expertise without introducing single points of failure.
I still can't get over the different world that exists, and the way that both of your teams work so well in concert, because you Peter, you and the team are migrating and transforming these customers through that big transition, whether that's the move and improve and then transform them. But ultimately, then that work needs to be managed over time. And as Travis was saying, we've got to be away from that mode of we're going to wait for the alarm to go off. We're going to wait for the customer to call. No, we've got to be in the customer's business to do exactly what you said, Peter, and that's drive meaningful business outcomes. So quick pause. Tom, we've got you. Oh, go ahead, Peter, before I cut you off.
We don't deliver that outcome, and whether that outcome then is operated by the customer or operated by Travis's team and Elastic Engineering, both available. But we really want to make sure that customers are set up for success long term, and that's where the professional services and Elastic Engineering work really well in concert together.
Yeah. Hey, so we've got Tom out there. He's a 32-year IT veteran with experience working with all the MSPs. So Tom, head over to rackspace.com/jobs, poke around. I'm sure there's something there that will work well. We also have from San Antonio, a trilingual jack of all trades. We would love to, well, we've got lots of languages we need to support. So hopefully there's something there. So our watchers are leading us down the road. I think they want to know what jobs exist and what you guys are hiring for. So Peter, what are the roles you have open today? And we will be posting some examples of these or ways to find them in the chat. Yeah. But if there isn't one that fits yours specifically, still go to rackspace.com/jobs, and you will find a host of literally hundreds of jobs that we're hiring for. Just when they talk about where did you hear about this, you write in Rackspace Live. That way they know that you heard about it here. So Peter, what you hiring?
We've got jobs for everyone. We've got jobs for the 32-year veteran. We've got jobs for the 3-year entry-level resource. So we have engagement managers that help run our projects. We have big data architects. We have software engineers. I need front-end developers. I need user experience and user interface designers. I also need people with vertical manufacturing. Have you worked in the retail business, as an example? Someone mentioned trilingual, and we also need a variety of languages, not just from a technical languages, but we also need the spoken languages. We're doing projects all across South America. So Spanish and Portuguese are really high valued skills for us as well. So there is literally something for everyone out there. The entry level cloud engineers, the very experienced big data architects, and of course we're putting the flavor of which cloud. Like, are you an AWS expert? Are you Microsoft and Azure expert? Are you Google Cloud Platform? Are you a VMware person? So there's something out there for everyone. Go take a look at the link, and then, as Jeff said, post where you heard it here first.
That's right. All right, so Travis, over to you. What are you looking for in employees and the jobs you have open? And hello from Mexico. We hire a ton of people in Mexico.
We do. Hey, Patricia. Yeah, so my list is going to be for what Peter's listed, because I'm just adding on. And Peter, everything I say will also be applicable to what Peter's looking for, most likely. And so any sort of containers, expertise, any sort of vertical or expertise, as you mentioned. We are actually launching the Elastic Engineering offering for our private clouds as well. And so any sort of blended expertise, for example, our VMware Elastic Engineering offering is going to help bridge that gap between our private cloud offering and where VMware exists on hyperscalers. So we're going to start blending these public and private cloud offerings. And so any sort of blended platform experience will also come quite in handy for sure.
That's incredible. Hey, we've got a previous Racker on here. Camelia used to work in our managed backup. Camelia, we miss you too. Wish you were still here, but hope things are well there. Susan Price is here. I've known Susan for a really long time. Great opportunity. If you check out uxsanantonio.com, it's an organization that Susan helps runs, and there's some great resources there as well. So let's go day in the life a little bit, Travis. You talked about the team. You said, "Hey, you get to work, just with the same 6 to 9 type of folks on a pod." So let's say you hire somebody in, they're a cloud architect. Tell me what Monday to Friday is starting to look like for them, and how they're interacting with customers.
Yeah, so it'll never be the same. It'll always be an adventure. But I find that most of our team members actually like that. The sort of technologies that they're exposed to is varies day to day. But essentially, what it comes down to is you have a base of customers that you're attached to, that they become familiar with, right? And we are meeting with them. We are actually reviewing your backlogs. We're understanding what the points are, who's going to take each task, make sure that we're tracking to effectively both meet the customer's long-term outcome, but also to effectively burn down the hours that they're subscribing to on a monthly basis. And so that lead architect will make sure that he's or she is integral into the customer's operations, making sure that the things that we're doing for are really meaningful, and then from there, cascading those out to team members on their pods. Then we'll hit some curveballs, of course, because we always do, and then from there we'll reassess and adjust and iterate once again.
Travis, this is one of the things I think is most impactful to what we might call, in the old days, a support engineer. And I can't tell you how many times as I would visit with folks at Rackspace or walk down the halls, when we used to have halls that we walked down, and somebody would say, "Oh, I got to fix this problem again." If they would only listen to me, and I could re-architect this the way it should be. And you mentioned something before where our pod teams, and this is specifically these engineers, are sitting on those, sitting in the stand-up. They're in the stand-up calls, and they're helping to contribute to the backlog to help make sure that things are engineered in a way that is best for the environment, as well as best for how that environment has evolved if you're thinking about public cloud.
Yeah, we absolutely are. It was an interesting conversation I had with one of my pod leads last week. He was asking for my guidance. So when we go into an engagement with a customer, we project how long we think it'll take. We don't necessarily say it'll take that long, but we say based off what's required, we think with this amount of throughput, this is how long it'll take us. What we're finding is the way that we're able to effectively share our libraries of past challenges across pods, we're actually really achieving these outcomes more quickly than we anticipated. And so since this is a monthly subscription model in Elastic Engineering, his question is like, how do I manage that to make sure that we're maintaining that we have work for our customers needing us to do? And so it was really, really fun challenge. First of all, being able to knock things out so quick that we need to identify more work with the customer. But what we're able to do is say, hey, customer, we did this for you. Everyone's really, really excited. We did it much, much quicker and more cheaply than we planned. This really opens up opportunities to do things that you didn't think you could afford, right? What's on your wish list that you hadn't really brought forward because you thought it was too far out there or you didn't have the budget for it? Because we just created a budget for you, right? And so let's share that. Let's talk about that, and let's see if we can get that knocked out for you as well. So really, really exciting motion.
It's a huge point too, because we all go to the cloud. Everybody runs to the cloud thinking, hey, there's all this opportunity and I'm going to be able to do all this stuff I couldn't do before because I can save money and all the stuff. But it really is a balance, isn't it? You've got to have the right infrastructure and you've got to have that right support model, that right engineering model, because that's how you, on a day-to-day basis, fine-tune that environment, uncover those savings that then can be invested in the platform. Because companies generally don't mind spending money as long as they're getting the value out of it.
Yeah, so many of our offerings or the services that we're able to deliver for our customers are self-funding, right? We could identify where you're overpaying for this, or you're oversubscribed for this, or your work hours are over focusing on this. and that's instant value. One, it becomes simpler and less sprawl. But two, you get to really have sometimes a neutral engagement for a lot more value.
That's incredible. So Peter, you're on the tip of that spear. You're helping them move from where they were into this new paradigm. And I hate to say move to the cloud, because the cloud really becomes this an ethos and not a location of constant transformation. And I keep saying this, infinite possibility. We don't have the ability to ask enough of what the capabilities that exist in the cloud today, be it in capacity or in features. So, for your team, I mean, you get to really let them unlock Pandora's box of opportunity as a team.
Yeah, so the cloud is just becoming an enabler of change, right? An enabler of transformation. And so there's the people and the process and the technology. The cloud is the technology part, but the people and process are just as important to come along for the ride in that transformation. So it's incredibly exciting to be able to do things like Travis said, right? We can build out these backlogs, and then the term customer, actually, we've got remaining budget. Let's over deliver. Let's do something that you didn't think was possible. And we've had a number of engagements where we get a migration done faster, and then we can add in maybe it's a data proof of concept, right? So someone demonstrates some value, and then they can see what the longer term outcomes could be. So incredibly exciting. We've so many customers where we may start in one area. We start with a migration, a move and improve, call it, Jeff. And then we move into the application modernization and the security work. Often, what a great thing is for some of those team members that may have started on a migration project, they can start learning other skills. They can start cross-training themselves of that customer, which they know, which is a great opportunity you get at Rackspace that you don't see at at some of our competitors, where you can stay on and build your career within the context of one customer on a number of projects within the same customer. So it is incredibly exciting part to be at, to be out there at the forefront, really helping customers solve problems, right? Because if it wasn't difficult to do themselves, we're here to help solve those problems and create opportunities for their businesses.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for being on here. Obviously, this is not the Rackspace that Travis and I joined back in 2007, 2008. This isn't the technology environment that we were in at that point as well. And if you are interested in this, you can reach out to us. You can send me an email at solve@rackspace.com if you have a general question, or go to Rackspace.jobs, and you can find all sorts of opportunities there, whether it's in these two gentlemen's area or not. And of course, we have also posted a bunch of the specific jobs that they're trying to hire for. You should find those in the chat down below. But thank you so much, everyone, for spending time with us today. Travis and Peter, as always, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Jeff.
You bet.
Thanks for joining, everybody.